Welcome to another version of Ars Electronica home delivery. Today we are on another journey through the universe. It's journey through the universe 8 already, and we have a special topic today. You might already see it behind me. Maybe it's moons, but maybe this moon doesn't really look familiar. And now could you turn off the spots, please? Okay, thank you. If there would be visitors in here, I would ask them to guess which moon it is. And maybe they know this is our moon, because very soon, in a few days, the moon will be completely dark, and as long as this is a real-time animation, the distribution of light and shadow is like it is in real time. And what we're seeing now is the so-called dark side of the moon. This side of the moon is not visible from the Earth, and pictures could only be taken from probes circling around the moon. The moon always shows us the familiar face of the man in the moon. Why is that? Here at the corner you can see one of the dark so-called Maria. Those are flats of basalt, and our moon is tidally locked to the Earth and always shows us the same face. This is because those Maria, that basalt plains, are a little heavier than the other side. And our moon was created when a protoplanet named Theia crashed into the Earth. This protoplanet had around the size of Mars, and it hit a lot of material out of the Earth. And so the moon consists of Earth material and Theia material. Shortly after the impact, there was a fiery ring, like a ring of Saturn, around the Earth, and from this, our moon came into existence. The next thing I'm going to show you is not a moon, but it looks very, very similar to the moon, and it might have been a moon one point in time, because there are theories that Mercury might have been a moon of Venus. Mercury, I'm showing you this also because there are two moons in the solar system which are bigger than the planet Mercury, and Callisto is a tiny little bit smaller than Mercury. It has 4,700 kilometers in diameter, and just so that you get some scale, our moon, 3,500 kilometers, would be up to here, and the rest, which is left, is the diameter of planet Pluto. So Pluto is a really, really tiny planet, and there are a lot of moons which are bigger than Pluto. The next planet in the row is Venus. Venus does not have a moon. Maybe Mercury was its moon one time. We already checked out Earth's moon, so the next planet we are going to visit is Mars. And here we have the planet, and very, very immediately we get the orbits of Phobos and Deimos. Why is that? Because those are only 5,000 kilometers, so they are orbiting very close to the planet. They are not in a good position today, because, as I mentioned, it is a real-time animation. The positions of all the moons and the planets are as they are in real life outside at the moment, and sometimes you have a moon right in front of the side with light on the planet, and then you can turn it around by moving your finger over the screen of the Android phone. And sometimes that does not work so well, but maybe we can try that now with timers. I'm zooming in. Oh, what I forgot, I did not turn stereo off. So you have two lines at the moment. Sorry, I forgot that. Now it's only in 2D. It used to be in 3D. And with presentations, with visitors in here, we also do that in 3D. So this is Deimos. This is only 12 kilometers. And it has more the shape of a potato. And we know that Deimos will, in like 50 million years, probably escape from Mars, and Phobos will crash into Mars. So Phobos has a diameter of 22 kilometers, by the way. So much more interesting, not only to look at, but also for the history of astronomy, are the next moons. The moons of Jupiter. The 4 moons were discovered by Galileo Galilei. They are called the Galilean moons, and if you look at their orbits, you can see that they orbit around the equator of the planet, which means they most likely were created out of an accretion disk along with the planet itself. And here we got, this would be Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. And Galilei was looking at the stars and was noticing those kind of stars around Jupiter. They already knew that this is a planet because it had an orbit different to the stars. But along with the phases of Venus and the discovery of those 4 Galilean moons, Galileo said, okay, the Earth is not the center of our solar system, the Sun is. And now we're trying to look at some of the moons. This is Callisto. Callisto is a little bit smaller than Mercury, as I mentioned earlier. Ganymede, the third one in the row, which is not in a good position right now, is bigger, quite a lot bigger than planet Mercury. It has, maybe it still has plate tectonic, but it definitely had plate tectonics in the past. And it has a magnetic field, so polar lights, auroras, have been photographed around Ganymede. But the one moon which I personally prefer is Io, the innermost Galilean moon, and I try to zoom that in now. Io looks like a ball of sulfur because that's exactly what it is. You can also see the shadow of Io on Jupiter. Io has a very eccentric orbit, very elliptic orbit around Jupiter. And also it has a 1-2-4 resonance with the neighboring moons, Europa and Ganymede. So not only the gravity of Jupiter is pulling on Io, but also its sister moons. And this is why Io is the most volcanic object in the solar system. When the Voyager probes flew by Io for the first time, they saw big plumes going out around 500 kilometers into space. And before, everyone was thinking moons are icy oddballs and not very interesting. That changed when they first looked at Io. And the next moon in the solar, and the next Galilean moon is Europa. Again, not in a very good position today. It was in a better position Tuesday when I did the whole thing in German. It's up here, and if you look at images from Europa, you see it looks like our North Pole from above. This is because there is an ocean of liquid water below the icy surface of Europa. And as long as many scientists now believe that maybe life on Earth originated around the black smokers deep in the seas, there is a chance that there might be black smokers on Europa, and so Europa is the top one candidate for finding life in our solar system outside the Earth. You see a lot of other orbits. Those are probably captured asteroids forced into orbit by the gravity of Jupiter, and you see they are highly irregular. When we visit the next planet in the row with a lot of interesting moons again, we are now close to Saturn, and if you consider every little thing which circle around the planet as a moon, then there would be millions of ice clumps circling Saturn. You could call them moonlets if you want. And I already found the most interesting moon of Saturn. This is Titan, hiding behind Saturn right now. It's the second biggest moon in the solar system, again bigger as planet Mercury. We already sent the probe there, the Huygens probe, and we found that Titan has seas, oceans, liquids on the surface, rivers. It's raining. But what is raining down there is not liquid water, but liquid methane. And because of the slower gravity, the raindrops of methane would probably be at least 1 centimeter in diameter and just dribbling down very, very slowly to the surface. When the Voyagers flew by Saturn, it was decided that as long as Titan has an atmosphere, they would check for life on Titan. So Voyager 1 was turned around, and only Voyager 2 flew by Uranus and Neptune later on. And because of Titan, this was the last target of Voyager 1, and then it did not fly by any other objects in the solar system. Let's check out if we find any other moons. The picture of this moon, it's called Enceladus, is not very brilliant. There are better pictures in the internet. Here it's more or less a white ball only. But if you're interested, look it up on the internet, because this is a very, very interesting moon. It has the so-called tiger stripes, 4 stripes in the southern hemisphere around the southern pole. And from there, geysers explode into space. They had the space probe Cassini fly through the geysers, through the fog coming out there, and it found a very salty water, which means there is liquid water below the icy surface of Enceladus as well. So again, maybe a tiny chance for life. The next planet is Uranus. Uranus does not only have a very odd name because it's not Greek but Roman, but also its moons are named after Shakespeare characters, but the moons are not in this program, so I just mentioned them, but we are going on with the next planet, Neptune, which has again one very interesting moon. It's on the far left side of the screen, and I try to move it in. This is Triton, and again, just like Enceladus, this moon displays cryovolcanism. When Voyager 2 flew by, they found that it has geysers out of which nitrogen with toluenes, carbonates, escapes, and it forms kind of plumes all over the surface of Triton. Triton consists of very, very similar materials as Pluto. It is bigger than Pluto, and it has a retrograde orbit, as you see. It moves in the other way around. The planet is spinning in this direction, and Triton is going in this direction, which means it's most likely a Kuiper belt object which was captured by Neptune's gravity. But it's not that easy to capture an object. Maybe it was a double system like Pluto and Charon, or more a double planetary system than a planet and a moon. And maybe the second part of this system was flung away and Triton was captured. And to come, all those are natural moons, and I want to tell you that not only planets have moons, there are even asteroids which have moons, so the definition of a moon is rather complicated. What is called moon, what is called moonlet, and there are also artificial moons, because if we go back to Earth and look at all the, it's not reacting very well at the moment, so now I'm turning back to Earth. And I also turn on the brightest satellites around the Earth. Doesn't work, but we're still going back. So we created our own ring, kind of, with the geostationary satellites, and I showed that earlier in the program in German, and it will be shown again tomorrow afternoon. Stuff in space. There are billions of tiny little objects and around 40,000 objects which are bigger than 10 centimeters already circling or orbiting the Earth. And those are artificial moons because they orbit a planet. And with this, I'm ending this home delivery. We don't know for sure if there will be another journey through the universe. I'm hoping there will be, but we are running out of topics a little bit. So tomorrow there will be stuff in space, I think at 3:30 in the afternoon, and at a German presentation about laser scans at 1 o'clock. Thank you for your attention, and have a nice day.